Hey, this is Bon Diesel, and today I am going to break down the Division 2 Episode 3 story trailer for you. We're going to watch it. I'm going to stop it so I can chat. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about kind of how I think things are going to play out. What I say may be outdated by tomorrow when there's a stay of the game, but we'll go with it anyways.
Ever since the
Okay, so we are pulling up to Coney Island, which I believe is part of Brooklyn.
virus hit, we've been hunting for a cure. We believe the scientist who can help us is being held on Coney Island. And by the
That is Vitaly Chernenko from the first game. He's the guy who was in the Russian consulate, who we were trying to get out of the emergency bunker when the LMB broke in and took him from us. And then we know now, at least up until this point, that Keener was traveling around with him. And yeah, so we'll see what happens here.
looks of it, the Black Tusk have him heavily guarded.
So that appears to be a big, giant Black Tusk prison or staging area. It looks like it's in a baseball park. That looks like baseball lines there. And it's probably like a local team, or it could just be because it's at like a fairground or at the Coney Island Park.
There's no time for caution, Agent. Get him out of there.
So here we see the new exotic, the Vector, that is in a 308 rifle round. I think that's a cool idea. I've actually done a little bit of research and found that there are some people, or there's some indication that Chris, the company who makes the Vector, may be trying to do like a rifle round, chambered version of the gun. The only thing I'll say about this one, that if you care about guns, is it looks like the feed mechanism and the extraction area is way too tiny to handle a 308. But what do I know? I have no idea. And here we go. So here are the cleaners. During the episode 3 trailer, we had some indication that they were going to return. During the episode 3 trailer at E3 last year, now that cleaner we saw in that video looked like the cleaners that we fought in Division 1. These cleaners do not look like that. They look weathered, but much more like heavily protected. And I'll also say that they are not wearing what I would say is summer gear, but that may be part of their motif. What you saw right there I thought was interesting, in that these agents are squaring off with these Black Tusk soldiers, but when the cleaners show up, the Black Tusk soldiers ignore the agents and turn. I'll also point out, and this, I just noticed this now, I don't know why this gun has 2 front rails. I'm gonna guess when I hit play it's because it's just it's in the middle of a cut or something. But yeah, these guys look pretty badass. So they still have the AK-47s with tanks and essentially flamethrowers attached, and then we've still got our shield guys with axes, but they look a lot more heavy duty than they did in the first game, at least to me. So there, I actually think that we may see a heavy unit. This guy looks different than the other one, and I also don't really know where this is. I suspect that this is this is outside of Coney Island. This looks like more of like a residential area. What I will tell you is that this statue here, I know for a fact, is in DC. I know someone has speculated that we'll have cleaners in DC. I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense for them to travel that far. But who knows? I suspect that this is either reused assets, or because of this green light and some of this other stuff, I'm wondering if this is like a part of the amusement park, and it's like a haunted trail or like a haunted railway. That's actually, now that I look at it, it's probably a ride, but still interesting. And there we have it. The new specialization has been revealed as a flamethrower specialization, which I'm honestly really curious to see how that's going to work and how it's going to be balanced and stuff. Yeah, so flamethrower, there you go. Now that right there I thought was interesting, and it's probably just a cinematic thing, but the fact that the heavy busts through a wall to flank the agent, I don't know if there may be destructible parts of the map in these two new missions where they might be able to flank you by breaking these or by doing something like this, or maybe it's just a cool thing for the trailer. Those launchers right there were the same launchers that you see on the Black Tusk hovercraft in Tidal Basin that were going to blow up the White House. That Wyvern was turning on us. So some reuse of assets here, but that makes sense for a big giant PMC. Now this, we see the prison camp here. There's explosions happening. I'm assuming those missiles are launching at agents that are approaching the area or something like that. We see Chernenko down here in his little prison cube, and then we see two people down here. We'll get close-ups of them, but notice here that is a glowing orange watch. When it comes to Keener, who we've been pursuing basically since the first game, I assume his watch would be flagged red, or not. I don't know. I don't think we've seen him, except maybe in the previous mission cinematic. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. So here it pans over. Here's this highly decked out Black Tusk commander, a leader, or something of some type. It looks probably like a female character. It's got what looks like to be a really badass cape and helmet and so on. And then over here, we have that same agent from before walking away. Now, I'll say from this angle, it looks a little bit more red. I still think it's an orange, though. I think everyone's assuming this is Keener. And what I think people should also keep in mind is we know that Keener has been palling around or has kidnapped Chernenko. Chernenko is now with the Black Tusk, and Keener appears to be leaving. So it can be theorized that the Black Tusk want Chernenko for the same reason that the Shade agents want Chernenko to be able to use the bioreactor for purposes having to do with the virus. So Keener would not have given Chernenko up for nothing. So it's safe to assume that the Black Tusk have given Keener something he wanted. Now, I also suspect that Keener probably knows at this point that the agents have gotten the bioreactor and were going to be coming for Chernenko. So maybe he felt Chernenko was too dangerous to keep, and so he's pawning them off on the Black Tusk and letting it be their problem. But through this whole game, through the first game and now the second game, Keener's never done anything that he wasn't already 5 steps ahead, and he wasn't playing everyone. Keener played every single faction in the first game, and now he's playing the Black Tusk in some capacity because he thinks he's smarter than everyone, and so far he has been. And then that's the end of the trailer. So I think it's a really cool trailer. I think there's some interesting stuff to take from it. I think it's a great trailer for some hype. I'm really excited to see what they say about episode 3 tomorrow during the state of the game. I will be live tweeting that on my Twitter account. It's @BondDiesel. If you want to be keep up with that. My guess is I have some reason to believe that episode 3 won't drop next week, but I bet it will the week after, on the 11th. For season pass holders, the week after for people who don't have the season pass. And I know a lot of people think that Gear 2.0 and all of the content coming with that won't be coming for like 3 or 4 months. I've seen people predicting that not until June or July. I think we'll see it at the beginning of March at the latest, but we'll have to see if I'm right or not. I do appreciate you watching this video. In the comments, feel free to let me know what you think, if you saw something I didn't, or if you think something is happening that I didn't say. Check me out on Twitter at BondDiesel. Check out my Twitch, is twitch.tv/BondDiesel. You can support this and my other content at patreon.com/TheEchoCast. And you can check out my podcast that is approaching its 100th episode in a row, The EchoCast, on iTunes, Spotify, and every other place that you can listen to podcasts. With that said, until next time.